This is Jocko, Underground Podcast, and we actually have an Echo Charles topic, which is strange because you always send me topics, and look, I open them with you'll send me an email, it'll say UG topics,
sure,
and I'll open it up with a good attitude. I'll have a positive attitude.
Cool,
but it's been pretty rare so far that they make the cut. Now, maybe one of our topics could be Echo Charles topics. Matter of fact, maybe we'll do that next time. I'll just go through the topics and see what you were thinking when these came to mind. Also, I'd like to say this. If there's something that a listener that you'd like to hear us discuss, send it in. Not just a question, but say, hey, we'd like to hear your discussion on this topic. So the topic that you sent me was SchadenFreude. SchadenFreude.
Yep.
I think that's how you say it. SchadenFreude.
Yep.
SchadenFreude. You sent me this topic. Hey, well, let's talk about this. And it's a pretty popular topic. Yeah, maybe popular is a strong word. You hear it occasionally. It's a German word. That's the combination of two words. The first word is Schaden, which is damage or harm, and Freude, which is joy. So this is when you, as a person, are finding joy in someone else's suffering. So it seems to be something that people like to experience on the interwebs, right? You can kind of watch bad things happen to people. I mean, there's a thing called fail TV and fail army, right?
Oh,
You're
yeah.
just watching people eat shit in a bunch of various different ways.
Yep.
On skateboards, on mountain bikes, on water skis, in vehicles.
Yep.
That's sort of the ultimate form of Schadenfreude, right? It's kind of maybe not it's a pure form. You are literally watching people suffer.
Yep. Or like when a kid, here's a classic one where the kid swings a bit, the dad and the kid, right? And then the baseball bat, they're playing baseball or whatever. The kid hits the baseball and hits the dad in the nuts.
Yeah.
That's the classic one.
Classic. So those are kind of, quite frankly, like a little bit innocent, kind of funny, humorous versions of this. But there are some, when I was looking this up, trying to just get a little more of a better understanding of it, the psychological driving forces, because this can be a real thing. Psychological driving forces are aggression, rivalry, and sometimes justice. You think about that one. Well, like when you see, here's a classic one, going back to the same kind of knucklehead stuff. You see the person that's driving, and they do some asshole move, and then they hit a freaking, a bridge abutment or whatever. And you go, kind of, like that. You got what you deserved.
So when I worked at the nightclub downtown, you'd see, people show out downtown, right? And
did you say show out?
Yeah. Show out like a...
Getting all dressed up and whatnot?
No, it's like...
Is it different than show off?
Yeah, a little bit.
What's the difference?
Show out means like, essentially, for lack of a better way of putting it, making a scene.
Okay.
Good or bad.
Okay.
Yeah. So guys would, like, when they leave, they'll peel out, right? Making it all smoky and loud, it's just showing out, right?
Okay.
And they peel out, right? And then you'd see sometimes, because there's a lot of cops downtown, you'll see the cop turn on his light, and go chase them. Everyone would cheer. It's weird. Everyone on the streets cheering.
Just Schadenfreude
all day, man.
En masse. Justice for that person. So that can do it. And so why did you, what made you want to discuss this? Was it some particular case that you saw?
No. It was just like a psychological kind of condition that's like, it seems bad, but then it probably goes so deep, in which, to me, I didn't realize all of this stuff that you already said.
Yeah. So. Well, here's when you asked about it, it's like, okay, cool. So we'll talk about what it is. And I think everyone can kind of understand it. But I wanted to take something, I don't want to say positive away from it, but I wanted to get a legitimate lesson learned from it. Here's the legitimate lesson learned as I started thinking about this feeling. It is such a good indicator of your own station in life, your own security, your own confidence, your own, for lack of a better word, happiness, right? So if I'm seeing Echo and I see you freaking whatever, you crash your car, and I'm like, I kind of feel good about it. What does that say about me? If you get fired from your job, If your girlfriend dumps you and I kind of feel good about it, why is that? Well, it's because I'm insecure. It's because I'm not happy and I want you to be suffering as well. You know, I got for a while thinking that, you know, certain guys in the SEAL teams wouldn't want to see other guys succeed. I told you that story about Seth wanting to go to Princeton, and guys like, no, you shouldn't go to ruin your career. I'm like, bro, how is going to Princeton going to ruin your career? What are you? That's insane. Like, go to Princeton. You'll have a degree. But people didn't want him to get that leg up, right? So it's sort of like a check engine light for your soul. And if you're walking around and you see other people suffering and it brings you joy, you got issues that you need to look at for yourself. And you need to check yourself. Now there's, once I got in the rabbit hole of this thing, there's another word, another tough to pronounce German word, but it's related. It's called Glücksschmerz. And what this is when you're mad about someone else's good luck. Oh, Echo got a new job. You're mad about it. Yeah. You know, oh, Echo just freaking got a new house and you're mad about it. Same thing. In my opinion, if you feel this way, you need to check your soul. This is a red light and to check engine light on your soul. When I got the house that I live in now, which was a long time ago, it was actually almost 11 years ago, I got the house I live in now. The house I live in now is in a very cool location. I could barely afford it. I did crazy things to get into that house. And one of the, you know, not like a close friend, but friend of the family type individual had stopped, was walking down the street and knew that we had got or whatever and walked in there and immediately started telling me like, oh, but the traffic, is going to be loud. There's a lot of salt corrosion because it's by the oil. There'll be a lot of, like, just point out all these negative things.
Started hating on it.
Oh, was hating. Thank you for bringing it to the parlance of our times, right? Was hating on it. You could not be mad at this house. I mean, unless you're, you could not be. You could not be. And I remember thinking, damn, this dude is bummed that I got this house in this location. So it wasn't so much the location, right? The house was kind of crappy. It wasn't that crappy though. I mean, it was not bad. It wasn't heinous. Yeah. It was livable. You know what I'm saying? But the location was good to go. So, but then the funny thing is Stoner came by. And I was like, hey, dude, I got, because I didn't want to jinx it. And so I told him, I'm like, hey, man, I'm in escrow for a house. And he's like, where is it? I'm like, and I was like, oh, it's down by the water. We'll be, But I didn't want to tell him because I didn't want to jinx it, superstition style. Yep. So finally I go, hey, man, come and see the new house. And he's like, where is it? And I sent him the pin drop. Yeah. And he's like, damn. So he comes over and I'm already there. And he walks in, dude, and you could see like big ear-to-ear smile on his face. He's like, dude, we're set. For him, it was like it was our house. You know what I'm saying? But he was like super stoked. Yeah. He had the opposite of Glücksschmerz. So if you're one of these people, if you're getting bitter, then you have an issue. And where I again, you kind of sent me in a little bit of a thought tornado, because here's what's going on, in my opinion. Once again, if I'm looking at you and I'm kind of mad that you're getting lucky, when I look at myself, I realize I'm letting myself down somehow, right? I'm bummed. Like I remember actually, Stoner ended up getting a house in the neighborhood that I was in. And it wasn't quite as badass, but it was freaking legit. And I was so stoked for him. So he was stoked for me, I was stoked for him, right? That's the way it's supposed to be. Yeah. Some people be all bummed out when their friends are winning. Yeah. If you're bummed out when your friends are winning, you got issues, but I think the issue that you have is you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not working hard. You're not reaching your potential. And that is, so you have the pent up aggression towards people that are being successful. And that's a bummer. Yeah. So watch out for those. Again, I think both these things, they're good things to pay attention to, because if you're feeling them, if you're feeling joy when someone is suffering, or you're feeling anger when someone is winning, you got issues. Pay attention to it.
Yeah. Do you feel like a little bit of that is natural?
Well, that's the thing. There are natural psychological driving forces that I read about, which is, our natural human aggression, right? Yeah. Like, we're sizing each other up. We're competitors in life, right?
Yeah, that's what I feel.
So that is a natural thing that we're going to have. We have a natural rivalry for resources and for, mates at an animal level. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to JockoUnderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's JockoUnderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@JockoUnderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.